Hi, I'm Ben,
Hi, I'm Alex.
and welcome to the Named Podcast on Act 1 Commentaries. Today, we are going to be talking about games is art. So, take us away, Alex.
Basically, I had the idea and I brought forth that we would talk about some of the games we like and like the elements in them that we think are, good. Basically, I don't know. We've not really prepped much.
Oh, neither have I. I believe the first game main game you want to talk about is Persona.
Yes, 5 specifically,
Yeah,
because I think that game is pretty good.
I was going to play Persona 5 in preparation for this, but I haven't got round to purchasing it.
That's fine. That's understandable.
So this will mostly be Alex leading this conversation.
Hooray!
And Ben might join eventually. I don't know when.
I was going to talk a bit about, the two main things that really, make this, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? That really grab your attention about this game specifically. It's the use, like the graphic design, the way everything's set out, the way everything's...
Like the art style.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. And the other thing, Atlas games typically are very good at this as well, is the music, the soundtrack. Very unique.
Oh yeah, I've listened to some of the soundtrack. It's pretty good.
It's quite listenable.
What a way to describe it.
Well, the story of 5 specifically, I think, is the strongest possibly in the series. And to be fair, that's not a hard title to get. The stories aren't particularly great, per se, for an RPG. They're interesting. They're all really interesting. And they have a lot of unique elements, such as, like, you know how in 4, I don't know if you're familiar with any of them, but 4 focused a lot on the characters and their motives and like things that happened with their backstory, and that played quite a central role in the plot.
Like, I'm familiar with the basic idea of Persona. Isn't it like you play as a school kid?
Yeah.
And I believe there's like dating sim aspects to it as well.
Not as such. I think the term they use it is social interaction sim, which is basically just a watered down way of saying that, except it's not about like trying to date someone. It's just, your interactions. It's kind of weird the way they do it. Your interactions with friends, like in day-to-day life, boost your stats when you're like, it gives you like an EXP boost, I think, is the main thing, if I remember right.
Interesting. So it's like, so you don't just gain experience from like fighting enemies and stuff. You get it just by interacting.
Well, it's kind of odd. You know how, I think I've said this before to someone, the personas that it's named after?
Yeah.
You know how it's like a thing, basically all the main characters except the like protagonist, the one you control, has one persona, and that's the only one that they get, and that levels up throughout the game. But the main character can have like, I think it's up to 12, and the way you get them is in Persona 5 it's by talking to enemies and recruiting them, basically. And once you've recruited them, there's also the option to, like, if you have 2 or more, you can combine them together and make a different one. So it's kind of Pokemon-ish.
Yeah, I get that.
It's a little bizarre.
It's a general way to describe it.
Yeah, the EXP boost thing, it's not like, it doesn't give you it in combat, it gives you it when you fuse two together.
I'm sure I would understand it a bit better if I actually
Yeah.
played it. I need to get
As I
it.
say, it's a JRPG, so it's a bit obtuse.
I'm actually playing through Pokemon Moon right now.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I think the last Pokemon I played was the Alpha, what is it, Alpha Sapphire?
Alpha Sapphire, that's the
Yeah.
remake of the GBA ones, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Ah, cool.
And then I sold that, even though it had a bunch of event legendaries, which I should have like given to someone, but I didn't. And then I just kind of stopped playing it because I lost interest.
I'm kind of on and off with it. I've not really. Well, I can't really play it right now because I'll lend my DS to a friend. But when I get it back, I might get back on that.
Yeah, I couldn't really do the whole like online competitive thing, just because I just don't understand the EV EX value, whatever.
Oh yeah, it's way too complicated for me.
So my party would just get decimated instantly, basically.
I honestly just assemble a party based on how funny I think the Pokemon look.
Yeah.
Like one of them was called, like one of the Pokemon, it was this bird thing. It was called Pick a Peck. So I called it Left One. Because you pick a peck. But anyway, back on Persona.
Yeah. So as I said that I think 5 might be the strongest one, and when I said that, I meant I was torn between 5 and 3, and I'm definitely leaning more towards 5 the more I play it.
3, didn't you tell me that one kind of like has a weird battle system, or at least the versions that aren't the PSP version?
It was the first one they did that was like different significantly from the ones they were doing from before, like Persona 1 and 2, because that was a very like dead straightforward turn-based combat thing, and I think they were trying to do something different with it in that basically you have a party of like up to 4 characters, with the main character, the protagonist, being in there. And the main character, the protagonist, is the only one that you have direct control over. The other ones you can pick from like a few options of behaviors, how they should behave in combat, but you don't get to dictate it. It's all AI controlled. And it works well most of the time, but when it doesn't, it's really shit. It's really annoying. But they changed that because it was shit in like all the future ones.
So like 4 and 5 are more traditional.
They're definitely a bit more quick-paced than like early Final Fantasies and things like that.
That sounds good. Sounds like something I could probably get behind easier.
Yeah, but they are still quite grindy, is the thing.
I'm familiar with grinding. I play Kingdom Hearts. Nothing new to me.
Yeah.
Shit.
In 5 it didn't bug me so much because it was a bit less so, but in 4 it's definitely quite noticeable, because you'll go from like being basically, you know how there's days.
Yeah, the game's kind of on like a time system, right?
Basically when you want to do combat, you basically have to go to a dungeon, and that takes up a whole day, and and everything else, it obviously takes the most time to do because it's pretty much the only direct, it takes the longest to do. So you'll end up spending a few hours doing that, and then you'll go back to just doing things for the next few days, and it slows down the pace of the thing when you're doing combat, and then you just speed through a few days, and it can be quite odd.
I read about this somewhere. Aren't the dungeons randomized in Persona?
In 3, there's just one big dungeon that's like procedurally generated. In 5, there's that, but there are also every month, I think, you get one that is like a fully planned out map.
All right, cool. But like, how does like the randomization like work? Is it just like, are there always like set things you should get there, but like it's just the path to it is like random?
Yeah, there's an entry point and an exit point to each room, and just the path between it and like the small like items and stuff and enemy placements are different. And
Alright.
like it visually changes the farther along you go.
That seems cool. Is it
Because like,
like you can like visit the like go back to the same dungeon at like an earlier point and like it'll be different, or is it like just like tied to your save file or something?
sorry?
Like when you boot up a game, like
Uh-huh.
are there like when you go to that dungeon, will that dungeon be like just regenerated one time and then that's it? It'll never change again throughout the time you're playing, or like can you like revisit that dungeon at a later point in the game and it'll be different?
Oh, I see. No, I don't think. I think like the main one that keeps going, that's called Mementos. And I'm pretty sure that if you go back to like an early one, it'll be the same layout. I think in 3 it was different. I think in 3 it was all like randomly generated. But I think once you like fill out, like explore the full map of a floor in Mementos, it stays the same. I think so.
See, that seems like kind of a cool thing, because I guess it means like on repeat playthroughs. I guess it keeps it interesting because you don't know what's gonna happen.
Well, Mementos isn't really that big a part of the game. As I say, there's different ones. There's different dungeons which like come and go every month, which are like pre-made, and they're more relevant to the plot.
Alright, so on the subject of the social simulation aspect, is it kind of like, since it's a school, can you like pick like
Hello.
Oh, there you are, Ben.
Hey Ben, we were just in the middle of talking about this.
Sorry. Okay. Well,
It's fine.
you guys keep talking. I'll just join in later.
Okay.
Okay, so like I was saying, like since it's a social sim and since you're at school, can you like choose what like friend groups you can join and stuff?
It's not exactly friend groups so much as you have individual like people you can choose to like spend an afternoon or an evening with.
Oh, nice.
A lot of the characters are very good. A lot of them are rather boring.
Yeah. So it's just kind of like pick one and hope you get lucky.
Well, no, the idea is in order to get the most out of it, you'd have to try and talk to them all.
And then just choose one.
No,
Or a few.
no, it's like, you know how I said it was related to the EXP boost thing?
Yeah.
Basically, the personas that you get are divided into 12 categories, and each of the social links, the social link things, is correspondent to a different category. And so if the person is in that category, when you make it, if you have a high level in that social link, which you get by talking to the person, it gives you a bigger EXP boost, as well as some other things.
Cool.
So it kind of incentivizes you to talk to as many of them as you can.
That is definitely... That's something. I'm sure it's like not as complex as it sounds when you're actually playing it. I'm sure it's something you like adjust to while experiencing the game. Ben, are you playing?
It's a lot to remember, but yeah.
I'm actually playing Arma 2 the DayZ mods.
Oh my god. We were having like a nice discussion, and now you're just here.
Yeah.
It's
So
fine.
you guys are talking about game as art.
Yes.
Is it the conversation as our games are, or like games?
We were basically just discussing, well, kind of a one-sided conversation of what I like about Persona 5.
Ah, that's good. Ben, have you ever
Okay.
played Persona?
No, I haven't played Persona. I know you haven't played
Oh.
Persona either.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Do
this
you
was a good
s-
topic.
Do either of you mind if I like kind of spoil the story for it?
No, go for
No.
it.
Well,
I'm not going to do it for 5 because I've not like finished 5, but I've like kind of spoiled the ending for 3 for myself already. And the plot for 3 is
I'll put a timestamp to when the spoilers are over.
okay. Okay, I'm going to kind of start now. Basically, the plot for 3 is pretty wild. It's pretty. You can tell it's a JRPG just from the plot.
Tell it's Japanese.
Uh-huh. Okay, so basically, there's a bit backstory. A long time ago, there was a big organization investigating these creatures called shadows. And basically, there was a huge incident that made like I think it's 10 or 12, I can't remember, of these shadows split up and disperse, and they only come out during a full moon. And basically, every night between 12 o'clock at night and 1 o'clock in the morning, or like the minute afterwards, there's a secret hour that only certain people can be awake during, or like be alive during, called the dark hour. Is this sounding a bit complicated already?
Yeah.
Tiny bit.
Yeah. Okay, so basically, I'll start from where the game starts then. You're just a transfer student going to like this island, this fictitious island city. And you're at the dorm and it's midnight and everything goes quiet and you don't know it yet, but you're in the dark hour. And when you get to like, what is it? Basically, I'm getting confused even as I'm trying to explain this.
And you're the one who knows about this stuff.
No, I know. When you know how sometimes in like high schools, I think in Japan they'll have a dorm room if it's like a boarding school or something.
Yeah.
So you go back there and you meet like the people that are there that are awake during the dark hour, and they're very confused that you're awake because you shouldn't be able to, because obviously it's only a few people. And they're like, oh, that's weird. And then you meet a ghost. Then you don't know he's a ghost. Just I think.
Jesus.
Are you allowed to date the ghost?
Sorry?
Are you allowed to date the ghost?
No, but he does become a very plot relevant character, and in the PSP version you can actually,
Oh,
Oh,
good.
that's cool.
if you play as a girl. Sorry, this is going to confuse you even more. Basically, it tells you to sign your name on the desk, and that's where you put in your name. And you can put in whatever name you want, so you can be called, I don't know, something silly.
Fuck nugget
But-
or some shit.
Yeah.
After that, nothing much happens until like the week after on a full moon, where there's apparently a big shadow thing. I don't know if it had a name, but it's the first of these like 10 big shadows you learn later on. And you go up to the roof and the ghost appears to you again, and it's very cringy to say, awaken your persona.
Whoa.
Good.
It's funny. Yeah, and Persona 3 is really edgy because you know how they summon their personas in this game?
Yeah.
Yeah, do you know, Ben? How they
No,
do it?
don't. I was just
Oh,
saying,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
It's trying to
quite
make
edgy.
it seem. Yeah.
It's
I just
edgy, but
wanted to
it's
seem smart.
it's relevant to the themes of the game. Basically, one of the biggest themes of Persona 3 is death and accepting your own mortality. and-
Yes. My
And the way
favorite.
they summon their persona, apparently, I think they explain it to say it's related to the fight or flight response. That's how they summon it. So what they have is this thing called an evoker, and it's basically it's like a mock pistol, and they have to like shoot themselves in the brain with it.
Yeah, doesn't the game start with someone holding a gun to their head?
Yeah, Yeah, she's scared to do it, but then it never comes up again.
Oh.
I don't know why she's scared to do it, because she knows she's not gonna die. But whatever.
To be fair, if you were in that situation, you'd probably be a bit
Uh-huh.
cautious about it as well.
Is this the end of the spoiler warning, by the way? Because when you push timestamp, we just like say something weird, so that anyone who just skipped it is gonna feel like, oh, and that's when I've had my second child. I don't know.
Yeah. But no, it gets much weirder.
Oh, good.
Basically, like you meet more people along the way who have like personas and that. It's basically mostly the people in your dorm who just so happen to be high school age.
Oh, that's lucky.
But also there is like a small boy and a dog, and later a robot. Yeah, there's a robot girl.
Oh, sweet.
And she got robot titties.
At the end she cries. It's beautiful.
Can you date the robot girl?
Yes.
Oh, good.
According to some people, she's the canonical option as well.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So basically, as time goes on, you know how I kept talking about the ghost boy?
Yes.
Well, when you defeat the 12 big shadow thingies, he disappears, and you meet a transfer student, a mysterious transfer student who's lost all his memories. Do you see where I'm going with this?
Oh, God.
It gets weirder. Basically, around like December-ish, you find out that the transfer student, for some reason, even though he doesn't seem to have a persona or whatever, can live in the dark hour. And it eventually comes to a point where the robot girl confronts him during the dark hour, and he reveals that he's actually
A dog.
no. He's
Plot twist.
what is it? The servant of an eldritch god, who is his like. His constituent pieces were split apart, and those were the 12 shadows. And as a ghost, he was like inserting himself into your consciousness and trying to get you to go and like defeat them so he could be reformed.
Ah, okay. So, you know, just the run-of-the-mill everyday
Yeah, you
type
know,
of
just-
thing.
Just the average motivation.
Mm.
And
This is why
then
religion is a problem.
it's set up quite well. Then there's a decision you have to make, where he goes up to you and says, "Right, if you don't kill me just now, this big eldritch god, they're gonna come down and just destroy everything." And so you get the option to kill him at that point, but you can also not. Can you guess which one gives you the good ending?
Killing him.
Nope. Well, technically it's the bad ending, but it's more satisfying than the good ending.
Is it
It's
like
one
a
of
is it like a
those-
Sonic 2 situation where the bad ending's actually better?
A little bit, yeah, depending on your outlook. Because if you do kill him, everyone's memories of the Dark Hour and everything disappear, and it ceases to exist, and you just go on living an everyday life.
That sounds good.
And then the game ends. But if you don't kill him, it continues on for like I think 3 more months. And you go and defeat the big baddie, and at the end, the protagonist dies.
How's that the good ending?
Because you saved the world. For real. Apparently.
For
I don't
real.
know. It's not so much as the good ending, so much as just the true ending, if you know what I mean.
Ah, okay.
The canonical ending.
But it is the quintessential like teenagers defeat God with the power of friendship. That's literally how they phrase it.
Oh no.
It has one of those symbolic last battles where you can't actually die, and it's just like, oh, you're getting beat up, and then, oh, your friends are cheering you on, and it's like, oh, hooray!
I think Mother 3
And
has
then-
like a very similar thing.
And then you sacrifice yourself to seal away the eldritch god.
Cool.
Mother's one is better though, because it's it's just kids.
So at the time of recording this, you have not beaten Persona 5 yet, haven't you, Alex?
I have not been any of them.
Oh, right.
I know the story of 3, and it's stupid. 3 is a good game though. I haven't beaten Persona 5 yet, and I've spoiled some details about it for myself, but I don't want to spoil anymore.
It's hard though when there's like so much shit online.
There are a few. Do you care if I like talk about some of the characters?
Nah, go for it.
Some of the characters are pretty good. Like, what was the one I had in mind just now? Yusuke. Yusuke is pretty funny. Like, I don't know, maybe you'd want to Google him or something. He's basically, I think he's like the third person I think you meet that joins your party.
How is it
And he's
spelled?
like Yusuke.
Why are you?
Yeah, he's like the really kind of foppish, effete, socially awkward one. And not socially awkward in a like a shy way, socially awkward in a like, I don't know, Sheldon from the Big Bang Theory way.
Oh, okay, good.
But in a good way. In a good way.
In a good way.
Not
Not-
like that show,
not-
please.
Not in an obnoxious way where he just spouts puns. It's like, I don't know how to explain it.
Does he wear a cat mask?
Something. Sorry.
Does he wear a cat's
Fo-
mask?
a fox. Fox mask.
Fox, that's what it is. Right, okay. Yeah, I've got him.
Yeah, he's the one that'll be like, say one of the girls or something and they'll say, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a good example. Because it comes up with some really good dialogue. Where I think the one I have in mind is basically you're at this coffee shop and the guy, you'll go in and try and like, no, this is shit. I'm sorry, that wasn't the one I was thinking of. God, I'm sorry. I'm going to look that up. I had one in mind and it was great.
All I know is this guy holds a katana, and therefore he is cool.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the artsy fartsy one,
Let's see if it's relevant to the cast then.
and he speaks like a Shakespearean actor. It's funny.
Oh. Ben, remember when we did Shakespeare in English? Not English. I'm sorry, drama.
No? Is it Shakespeare?
Yeah. It was like second year.
We did it in English. We did can't remember what it was now. It was one of them. It was one of the plays.
I think it was Macbeth we did.
Right.
No.
Yeah, he's introduced. He's basically kind of a comic relief. Pretty much all the characters are comic relief, to be honest. But like the way he's introduced to you is like you're like basic girlfriend who's like not ditzy, but the really basic blonde. She like for a few days beforehand she gets the feeling like someone's watching her when you're getting off the subway, and then it's framed like she's being stalked, and then it's Yusuke, and he's up to me and she's like, strip for me, but not in a sexual way because he wants to paint her. It's very odd.
Very rare that you say that in a non-sexual way.
Yeah, you just like go up like really politely, just like, hello, madame.
Excuse me, madam.
No,
Please
he's
take
like,
your clothes off.
He's like, oh, I'm captivated by your beauty. Would you please, like, could I arrange to have you model for me? He doesn't say strip, he says model.
What did she say?
She's like, what? But as you get to know him, like, it becomes relevant to the plot because,
Of course it does.
I don't know, basically your interactions with him dictate, I think it's the first or second dungeon, but they call them palaces because it's subversive and funny.
It's a Zelda 2 situation where they have to censor.
Yeah. But basically she does model for him. And it's odd because it's not, they make it very apparent that it's not in a sexual way.
have to make sure of it. This is
But the same way,
innocent.
they make it awkward because it's funny, you know.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's our response.
Sorry.
I don't know
I've
how.
kind of run out of things to say.
Okay, let's talk about our
Actually,
games art.
well, actually,
Do
I
that?
well, Alex, you've discussed the art behind Persona and why you think it's all artsy.
Yeah, Persona 5 is a good case study because of like, well, how much art surrounding it and within it has gone into it. Like, everything's, I don't know, the music and the art direction for it, the way everything's styled, the way everything's like drawn and stuff. It's very, very appealing.
Yeah, because
That's probably one of the first things.
Because I've seen like the menus designs in those games. They do look really nice.
Persona 5's ones in particular is very stylized. It's not as sleek as 3 or 4's, but it's still like I'd say it's better. Like everything has a unique style.
Okay, there's something I want to discuss, but I need to quickly go do something, so you two entertain the audience while I'm gone.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I talk about our games art for a minute? 'Cause I
Yes.
think,
Yes. You probably should.
so, in your opinion, our games art.
I think they definitely can be.
I think it's you gotta kind of say what art is to start with.
Mhm.
Because like
Yeah.
If you
Obviously, by definition, they are art. But I think you mean is are they
Like-
respectable art?
yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's like similar to movies in which you'd say in general movies are art, but like they're not as respectable as some other forms.
Mhm.
So it's a weird kind of thing. But I think it's because games still aren't like
They're a
in
new
their own-
medium.
Yeah, they're still kind of new.
They're
And
very
what-
new. They've only been around like in the main market, in the mainstream, for like maybe 4 decades.
Which is like ridiculous. And they also have a task of, because most films they don't have a quick tutorial on how to watch a film and what cuts are. Most they just assume that people have watched films. Whereas because games are interactive, you have to teach people how to do it. Which isn't-
They're not quite as accessible. There's definitely
Yeah.
a skill barrier.
I am back.
Hello, we're talking about our games art.
Yeah. Okay.
But like the skill barrier isn't massively high, but there's still a skill barrier for people who like games with some games, because not all games are the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you spent all your time playing racing games, you couldn't immediately jump on Grand Theft Auto just because it had cars in it. So
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah. I get you.
it's quite a difficult kind of thing, and that's why games aren't is seen as respectable, which is
Mhm.
weird. Yeah, Ben, do you have anything to say on our games art? What's your opinion on it?
Our games art.
Yes.
Well, my stance on it is like, yeah, I think games can be considered art because, you know, like you say, like movies and books and all that, they can all be seen as art, and like video games, especially nowadays, share a lot in common with movies and books. So if they can be seen as art, I feel that video games can as well.
Mhm.
Especially when, you know, video games like Persona exist.
I think, to me, maybe one of the big defining traits of whether something's respectably art is whether it's making a statement, whether it's, you know, presenting a unique perspective on something,
Yeah, makes
on-
sense.
on like, I don't know how to put it. it doesn't necessarily have to be something political, like a political statement, or just like exploring themes. This is a really bad way to put it. I'm not sure how to.
Yeah, I kind of. It's like just an indie game like Donkey Kong is kind of not as much as art. It's not really saying anything. It's more just here, have fun for however long you want to play.
That's definitely meant to be light entertainment, and just that. But I think it's, if it can present a complex story that involves, intrigue and deeper themes, then I think it could be considered art.
Well, on the grounds that I'm playing DayZ right now, would you call that art? It's not really pushing a message on its own, but it's kind of pushing what would happen if everything went wrong. And so far, the last two people I've seen have shot me, so not very well.
Multiplayer games are kind of a different bag.
Yeah.
Like, I would say there's definitely artistry in them, in like the modeling, and is there music in DayZ?
I'm not sure. It's mostly a mod, so there's not much original stuff, but it's less. So.
In the music and assets and that, there's definitely artistry, hopefully, been put into that, and they've not just been like stolen from.
Unity.
Well, then again,
Yeah.
the same can be applied to other medias as well, because like, say if you just like grab a piece of paper and just draw a stickman on it, you can't really call that art.
Well, you can technically, but
you can. It just depends how long you're gonna keep that statement of this is art.
It's entirely subjective, I think, is the point we're trying to get at.
Yeah.
You could get that stickman and like sign it, and then bribe a critic to write about how it's a deep and insightful look into the human soul. and then you could die, and then it'd be worth millions.
You have to have a fairly high IQ to understand stickmen.
Yeah.
No, it could be like because a stickman alone is an art, but like the animator versus animation like web series thing, with like 4 episodes, like really good at animation, I'd call that art.
Oh my.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
No, but like.
It's definitely artistic, yeah.
Yeah. So it all kind of depends on what it's wrapped up in.
Yeah, but you have to think, did the creator want to convey anything with it? Or did he just do it because it looked cool?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. So now that we've got the main bit of the podcast out of the way, can we talk about nothing for however much longer we can?
Yay! When did we start?
10 past, I think.
We're at 37 minutes, nearly 38.
Yeah,
It's kind of.
I kind of have a bit of a
Yeah,
topic, because like Alex is describing the artistry behind
Persona.
behind Persona.
Not as well as I would have hoped.
I kind of want a mini, well, not really a discussion, more of a rant about some of the art decisions behind what else? Sonic. Nothing else I talk about.
Can we not? Can we save that for another episode?
No.
It's topical. So it's kind of like, so the art style that I felt like the original games, like the original Mega Drive trilogy, Sonic 1, 2, and 3, I kind of felt it was mainly the way it was marketed here in the UK. It was kind of going for more like a Western animation art style, like a Saturday morning cartoon or something. And that's the art style that the first 3 games and CD took. There was no, it was all animals, no humans in sight, and that's how the original games were presented. Then you cut to the 3D era, like Sonic Adventure, Sonic Adventure 2, and then they changed it. They kind of put it into a more realistic setting. But
they try and modernize it,
Yeah.
for lack of a better term.
Yeah, they take away all like the cartoon qualities of Sonic,
Uh-huh.
Well, there's the thing. They don't really like all the character designs are still the same. Well, apart from like the obvious, they're taller, they got green eyes, whatever. But the fact is, they're still like mostly cartoon animals. But then you've got like the world around them is fairly realistic, or as realistic as the Dreamcast could present. And you've got like these realistic people, and it's just kind of like two clashing art styles, which they don't really blend together that well. And especially when you have like normal humans, and then you have Eggman, who's just
Sonic 06.
Yeah, I was about to say, the apotheosis of that, I guess, the culminating point would be Sonic 06, wouldn't it?
Yeah, because the adventure games, you can kind of let them off because, the graphics are so bad you don't really notice, but 06 is where it really takes you out of it, because everything...
Can you spell tonal whiplash?
Oh... Probably couldn't actually, but yeah, it's it's horrible. Everything looks bad, and yeah, like Ben mentioned, they tried to make Eggman fit in with the other humans, and we all saw how that turned out. Please watch our Sonic 06 Let's Play to find out. But on Act 1 commentaries, starring Super SES, but
Internet celebrity.
But it just looks. It's horrible, it doesn't work, and they even tried to they even redesigned Sonic again. I kind of like briefly mentioned this, but they made him like lankier and like tried to humanly proportion him a bit more, and it's awful, and I hate it, and it doesn't work.
Is it a realistic dog in Sonic 06?
Yes, there's
just a dog that looks normal, which is kind of begs the question, what universe are you in where Sonic and just a dog exist?
The anime tried to explain that, but...
And did they?
They did. They explained that Sonic was in his own world, but then he got, like, transported by, like, some sort of, like, nuclear explosion, well, like chaos control.
So Sonic 06 isn't actually canon to the Sonic world. Oh, what's his face? Is just weirdest thing. Alex. Look at me remembering people's names.
But yeah. By the way, don't watch the anime, it's horrible.
I thought you liked that anime.
No, I do not like that anime. Well, it's alright, but like, it's really hard to watch, especially the English dub. The voice acting is pretty cringy.
Okay.
But yeah, the main point I'm trying to make is after Sonic 06, I feel like Sega finally realized that this realistic meshing with the cartoon characters isn't working. So they tried to.
They made a more cohesive style.
Yeah, when you got to Sonic Unleashed, they went for more of a Pixar style. And it really works. Because
that
like,
fucking flying dog thing does not work.
I'm probably stumbling on my commentary because I'm trying to text at the same time as doing this.
Of course you are.
Yeah, that's just. What I feel is like the humans there in Sonic Unleashed mesh a lot better with the characters and their designs. It feels a lot more cohesive, and it just it's more pleasant on the eyes, basically. That's the point.
Yeah.
When we're on the topic of like certain characters feeling out of place and foreign and other, I can actually bring that a little bit back in my thing, if you want.
Yeah, okay, go for it.
Certain characters that are meant to be like otherworldly, like not regular humans, like did I say about the Velvet Room?
No, but that sounds really creepy.
I know, it's not as creepy as it sounds. You know how in Persona you get like you acquire multiple personas through combat, and you can fuse them together to create new ones?
Vaguely.
Yeah, you do that through the character called Igor and like usually a few other characters which change game by game. They're different game by game, but Igor is always there, I think, in most of the games. And you do it through him, and the way he's presented is very strange. It's not like other like regular people in the game. If you look up a photo of him, you'll see what I'm talking about. Like Igor with an eye.
Ben, show up a photo of a regular character and then Igor.
Okay.
So you should see what's happening, or you might
Other characters like the Ghost Boy, I think he's called Pharos with a PH. In Persona 3, they have very similar designs. Not very similar, it's similarly odd, similarly unique. But in Persona it works because it's deliberate. Anyway.
So on the topic of characters that don't work in their respective games, did you hear the Sea of Thieves that had microtransactions? Or they confirmed it?
No, I didn't. What's Sea of Thieves again?
It's the pirate game that Rare is making, and that looks incredible. And then I heard they added microtransactions, and they haven't said what they're doing it for yet. Or maybe they have. I didn't really pay attention. I just heard they were doing it and got annoyed. Because I really want to play that game. That was fun.
Oh my god.
What?
Sorry, I just stumbled across fan art of Igor. It's basically him as Gru, and with his like 2 assistants as minions. We're gonna have to put that in the video. I'm gonna send it in the Discord.
Okay.
Use it as the thumbnail.
Oh god.
Oh, you should see the thumbnail I whipped up for the previous part. I basically, because we made, I'll check it.
Oh god.
Oh, what the hell? See, for the previous
You took
part,
the time to make that.
for the previous part, we made a lot of West Civ jokes. So I basically just took one of their thumbnails and I just slapped our logo over it.
That's great.
My phone is being turning it off now. So
Yeah, so about Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did they say was it just an announcement that they were going to have microtransactions? Did they not say what for?
I don't think they did. I will research that now. But
'Cause they don't always have to be bad when they're not like ham-fisted in.
yeah, but I'm not sure because there's not much to like buy in Sea of Thieves. You can't buy better boats, which annoyed me. I wanted to do that. But if
do it
Sea of
legit, Ben.
Thieves, what?
Do it legit. Gosh.
No,
Yeah, Ben. Just waste like 40 hours of your life grinding.
no, you can't
God.
get any new boats in Sea of Thieves. I don't think. I don't think there's any other ones.
Has there ever been a microtransaction that allows you to just instantly skip and beat the game?
Probably.
Yeah,
Sea of Thieves,
probably.
I want to find that game. It might as well be a part of Crisis, considering no one actually plays that game. It's just used to test your computer.
What, Crisis?
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that kind of an out-of-date benchmark?
The other day, I actually found out that Crisis was actually a game. Weird.
Yeah, I would think a better one would probably be, I don't know, Minecraft, because it's you know how its render code is really fucked,
Oh
so
god, yeah.
it usually has quite a bad frame rate issues even on really, really good PCs.
Yeah, and I don't know why it does.
It's
Yeah,
because
Mojang.
I've heard it's like Optifine, that mod fixes it. It's because the render code or
Yeah,
whatever
I can't
is
play that game without Optifine
funky.
installed. I mean, I never do play
Yeah.
that game because I don't like it, but whenever, if I were to, I would install that mod.
It's one of those, it's fun for like an hour until it's not. And when you're just like, I don't even care, why am I doing this?
I can only.
I just got asked. I'm playing Daisy, and I just got asked why I keep dying.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Just say
I just got the game is what I replied with. I've been playing it for 4 hours and I still don't understand what I'm meant to do. Oh, it's going well.
Why do I keep dying? Reply say because I'm a strong, independent woman who don't.
No, my last 4 hours of this game has been go towards a city, pick up a gun, run away from zombies for like 20 minutes, get hit by enough zombies that I have to bandage myself, get killed by bandaging myself, respawn. And that's been me playing for the last 4 hours and I'm still playing. I will do better. I'll maybe see someone this time.
Eventually. So, yeah. Daisy's what Ben's been playing recently. What have you been playing recently, Alex?
Well, it should come as no surprise that I've been playing
Minecraft.
Tetris. I've been playing a lot of Tetris recently.
I've been playing loads of Tetris as well. I've like
Just because I've been like working on stuff and I've been like procrastinating by playing it.
it's like the Flash Tetris version.
No, I think it's the DS one specifically.
Oh, I mean, I always play eChalk Flash Tetris. Shout out there to eChalk's games.
I have an important announcement to make. You know how in the last
What?
cast I briefly mentioned how I wanted to play Spider-Man 2.
Yes.
Today I bought Spider-Man 2 for the Nintendo GameCube.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Haven't played it yet, but yeah, I've finally got my hands on it. Looking forward to it. I also got Metal Gear Solid 2 because it was only £1 and I thought, why not?
Oh, you know what I started when I got really interested in, but I should finish it. Silent Hill 2,
Ah,
like the original one.
I've never played Silent Hill.
It's a very good game. I probably should have talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Forget what I said about Persona.
The
Silent Hill
Art
2
of
is
Fog.
like no. If there's any game that is like truly art, it's probably Silent Hill 2.
We have Silent Hill to the new one, like the one where it was no, not I'm thinking about the other one. What's the one with Alone in the Dark? Oh,
Oh,
the sequel where it was a co-op game where you walked around like
Alone in the
in
Dark
the light.
Illumination, where you're in the light with friends.
yeah. Just so ooh, I think I just found a tank and I'm not sure if anyone's in it. Ooh, I'll keep you posted.
You know,
I've been shot by a tank. Okay.
You know,
Dead
you're,
now.
you're playing you're playing Daisy to keep entertained. What I'm doing is I'm just watching the audio bars go up and down on OBS.
Hooray.
I'm like, oh, it made it to the red that time.
Yes, awesome.
Did that do it for you, Ben?
That did it for me. Thank you, Alex.
Okay, so I think we've basically talked about everything. Anyone else want to talk about anything in particular?
I
I
think,
could talk like for like just I don't know 5 minutes or so about Silent Hill 2,
Yeah, okay,
go
do
for it,
that
we
for
got
a
time.
closing statement.
because it's like you've probably heard it already if you've watched like Jordan Underneath or anyone, but you know how a lot of people believe, and it's probably true, that it's somewhat symbolic of depression or like
Oh.
grief probably more so.
Oh yeah, I'm really unfamiliar with Silent Hill.
Mhm.
Yeah, so am I.
2 and 3 are the only ones you really need to play, to be honest.
I hear that the
was.
first one was like good for its time.
hmm They did a lot of like unique things for like a PS1 horror game, but it's pretty naff, to be
It's
honest.
like Resident Evil 1, you just can't go back to it now.
I know, but that's ironically good.
Oh, I loved all the old audio tracks where it's like, oh no, I've been bitten by a snake. And Andrew has just sent a random message into the Discord of a big man with a baby face. So, yeah. Ben,
It's
put
that
that
one
on.
that he keeps posting everywhere.
Wait, which one's that?
Put that in there. You can now see a baby face man.
Or just get Andrew to join for like this last bit.
Yeah, invite Andrew on. Go ahead.
Andrew.
So then we can say Super SDS is in there. internet celebrity Super
Can you
SDS.
join us? Oh, is he gonna do it? Let us become one.
Yeah.
Um,
Me and Andrew never should.
Yay! Oh, Andrew's like both muted and oh, there he's back. Hi, hello, Andrew. Now we can say that this podcast has internet celebrity Super SDS. Andrew, you may not. You can leave now if you want. No, don't leave, Andrew. So we're just talking about games as art.
No.
This is the last 5 minutes ish. Andrew,
Alex,
is
can
there
I
anything you'd like
ask,
to say?
why does your Discord always say playing with your nan's fat tits?
Basically, if you go into settings and go into games, you can, like, it'll have a thing that says, do you not see it? Find it here, and you can select a background program that's running on your computer and just rename it. And so, yeah.
I love it. It's great.
Wait. What?
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Andrew's
Andrew.
confused.
Andrew, I
What?
need to ask you a question.
What are those? Yeah.
Uh,
Poo? What does that mean?
It's what you are.
And that was internet celebrity Super STS.
Oh,
Now
there it
join us
goes.
next.
Alright, good night.
Alright,
Yeah,
we're
good night,
done here.
guys. Thanks for,
Alright,
or
you've been
good morning.
I'll do the
Or
outro, you
good-
pleb. Thank you for watching the named podcast on Act 1 commentaries. I have been Ben.
I've been Steven.
And I've been fucking shit.
Join us next time where we talk about poo for 30 minutes.
And we'll have Ass Dunk on.
Oh, and he's gone. Yeah. Oh, and he's back.
Bye.